think you guys are going to like this one today. We are tasting 5 iconic supermarket IPAs. And hey, make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video. It definitely has a little bit of a surprise. Oh, that one tastes nice. My name is Nate. I run and started House Brewing Company, located in Charlton, Massachusetts, and we are well known for our hazy style IPA. So we do make some classic West Coast style IPA like these 5, but more often than not, people come to Treehouse to get our hazy style beer. So I definitely know a thing or two about making IPA, and hopefully my thoughts surrounding these beers can inform you if you're looking to grab something quick next time you head to the supermarket. All right, so the beers that I'm going to be tasting today are Lagunitas IPA, Jai Alai IPA, Deschutes Fresh Squeezed IPA, Stone IPA, and of course, Goose Island IPA. I'm going to dive right into sample number 1. Before I do that, actually, color-wise, from my perspective, they have that kind of 5 to 8 SRM dark yellow to light orange appearance. They're all mildly translucent. This one here in the middle might be completely clear, but they have a little bit of chill haze to them, and they look like that kind of little bit of caramel malt, classic style West Coast IPA. Diving into sample number 1. Oh, this is nice. So I think for me, this is going to be a treat because oftentimes on the channel so far, we've done light beers, light lagers, Helles lagers, Pilsners, and this is one of the first times we've tasted through a panel of IPAs. Oh yeah, I got that classic citrus and pine note on the nose here. Definitely a little bit of malty caramel sweetness in the background. Getting like orange marmalade, a hint of pineapple. Smells nice, smells a little bit sweet, not too pungent, tiny little bit of grapefruit. And on the flavor, nice, that's dry. So on the aroma, I got a little bit of sweetness. On the palate, super crisp, super dry. So I'm getting like hop resin oil sticking to my tongue without any caramel sweetness to balance it up. This is a dry beer, super dank, easy to drink. Moving into sample number 2. A little bit lighter orange on this beer. Wow, different aroma, surprisingly. This one's less citrus forward, more kind of piney and herbal. Do get a little bit of that grapefruit tone on the back end. Ruby red. Doesn't smell as sweet as the first sample. On the taste, resin. Oh yeah. Woo! Now when people talk about bitter IPA, this one's got a punchy bitterness to it. I would even describe it as a little bit astringent. Following that sip, it just kind of sits on my tongue. I can feel it there, a little bit abrasive. Not off-puttingly so, but if you're trying to convince somebody that they should or shouldn't drink an IPA, I probably wouldn't give them this example because it takes a little bit of a leap of faith with that amount of bitterness. Sample number 3. Again, probably the clearest of the beer panel today. Nice aroma, a little bit fruitier, a little bit rounder and soft. Good though, dank. So far we've had a lot of classic, piney, herbal, resinous tones on the nose. Nice, that one's got a little bit more hop juiciness to it, a little bit more sweetness, and not as much bitterness. The bitterness of that sample number 2, I think is gonna stay with me here for a minute. It kind of overpowered my ability to dive into this third one. I'm gonna go back in for one more sip. Yeah, sample 3 is nice. Orange marmalade, soft, a little bit of tangerine, clementine, apricot. Definitely on the fruitier end of the spectrum, and definitely a little bit softer on that bitterness. Moving on to sample number 4. Ooh, this one's got some, this one feels like it might be a little bit older. A little bit ashy on the nose. A little bit more dank and herbal. Not getting a lot of fruit off of this one. Huh. Yeah, definitely ashy herbal. Piney. Like Douglas fir. Huh. That one's nice, kind of watery. Doesn't have a lot of malt character. The hop character is kind of dry and mild. Doesn't have any real juiciness to it. Not a ton of resin either. Just a little bit of bitterness and not super potent flavors. So I'm not sure if it's just the beer itself or if that one's a little bit older than some of the others in the panel. Just to confirm, we're drinking. These all came cold. They all came cold out of a very close to us local supermarket. Moving into the final sample. Yeah, this one's almost got like a leafy vegetalness to it. Not a lot of fruit. Piney, herbal, once again. Maybe tiny hints of grapefruit on the back end of the nose. A little bit of apricot, like apricot skin. I like that flavor though. It's got kind of a little bit fruity, kind of a little bit citrusy. Got a little bit of that watery affect like number 3 had, but it still tastes quite nice, and it's lacking in too much punchy bitterness at the finish. So my overall impression of this panel is that all these supermarket IPAs have sort of a similar aesthetic. They've got a little bit of pininess, they've got a little bit of citrus, some more so than others. They all have a little bit of caramel malt flavor, but they do finish super dry. Presumably they're all brewed with some amount of dextrose, which dries the beer out, pushes that hop character to the forefront. Maybe they're brewed with a little bit of calcium sulfate to accentuate that hop bitterness, but they do share a lot of similarities between one another. I'm going to go through the panel one more time with a fine-tooth comb, try to distinguish between them, and then pick my favorites 1 through 5. Citrusy, resiny. Dry, bitter. Oof. Okay. This one's got like a little bit of an herbal note that's coming forward. The last pass, I thought that it was maybe one of the sweetest and juiciest of the bunch, but now that it's been allowed to warm up, it's getting a little bit weird. And I actually think I may have preferred sample number 1 to sample number 3 on this second pass. Oh, that's good. That's interesting. It's opening up. It's got more sweetness to it, not too dry, a little bit of body and mouth feel. This is hard. This is tough. Okay, that one's got dry and earthy and resin. All right, should we rank them? This is tough. We've done a lot of tasting. It's probably like the 50th tasting that we've done on this channel. This is by far the hardest one. I enjoyed all these beers, and if you're looking for something quick and simple at the supermarket that's readily available, I will say that it's hard to go wrong if you pick up any of these beers. In terms of how I would rank them, I'm going to go through a couple more one more time before I make my final choices. It's funny, they're changing as they warm up.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You used ashy.
Yeah.
I've never heard you use that. What is that?
I don't know. It's kind of like a mouth-filling hop bitterness that doesn't have any flavor to it. Like oftentimes, good IPA, the bitterness will have a flavor. It'll taste like tropical hop oils, or it'll taste like piney hop oils. Ashy is just kind of like bitter. Not a lot of flavor, carbonic, like just sits on the tongue. You don't get a lot of enjoyment from the actual bitterness. So in terms of how I would rank them, this is hard. Of course, as IPA connoisseurs know, the condition of IPA can have everything to do with whether or not you enjoy it. These presumably tasted like they were in reasonably good condition. A couple of them displayed a little bit more malt forward notes, but really I'm splitting hairs. So in order of how I would enjoy them personally, I would rank sample number 3 as my number 1. Sample number 5 as my number 2. Sample number 1 is my number 3. 4 is my 4. And 2 is my least favorite. This one had a bitterness to it that in this example was astringent and lingered on my tongue. So yeah, that's the order in which I pick them. Normally in these tastings I'll guess, but frankly I wouldn't know. I think I know the flavor profile reasonably well of Stone IPA, and I know that Lagunitas flavor profile, so I could take a crack at it, maybe. Let's not guess today. Let's just tell me what they are.
Do you want me to start at number 1 or number 5?
Let's go 5 to 1. A little drama.
Number 5 is the Stone IPA.
Okay.
Your number 4 is the Highlight.
Okay.
Your number 3, Deschutes. 2, Lagunitas.
Yep.
1, Goose Island.
Wow. Interesting. This is the Goose Island. Huh. It's good. All right, friends. So this surprised me. I suspect that Goose Island IPA will not be a popular pick, but sometimes a blind tasting can surprise you because it removes any biases and makes it as objective as possible. We wrapped the tasting. I was going back to do my job.
I'm also going to need you to go ahead and come in on Sunday.
We were retasting the beers out of the cans to try to associate the flavors, and I realized that actually out of the can, the beers tasted phenomenally different than they did during the panel. I'm not sure if it was a Tiku glass or if they got light struck. They probably got light struck. But if you don't know, if once beer gets light struck, it creates an oxidative reaction that makes it smell a little bit skunky. So if you're drinking IPA, whether hazy or clear outside, make sure you drink it out of a glass that's not exposed too much to the sunlight. So that said, we did grab a little blindfold, and we're gonna do a bonus tasting of the same IPAs out of the can. Don't leave me in here for too long. Rambo, First Blood, one of the best movies of all time.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over!
Well, I can assure you that I can't see.
Left hand.
Left hand? Thank you. Where's the front? That's good. Punchy, citrus. Wow, yeah, bright, fresher tasting out of the can.
Space, you're good.
Okay, that's a little soapy. All right. Are you taking them away from me?
I'm just moving.
Okay. Okay. This is gonna be hard. This is like where the chess prodigy plays like 3 people blindfolded. He has to remember the moves. Ugh, that one's bitter. Bitter. Oh, that one tastes nice. A little bit of leafy hop. Wow. Juicy though. Okay. Man, this is... Okay, this is hard. Wow. Not digging on that. Kind of falling flat. Okay. Oh, if I have to rank them, I have to rank them like I ranked them last time. I'm gonna say sample number. Wait, which one did I say was super bitter? Was it sample number 3 or sample number 4?
It was number 3.
Okay. So I thought sample number 4 was my favorite this time. Sample number 1 was my second favorite. Sample number 2 was my third favorite. Sample number 3 was my fourth favorite. And sample number 5 was my least favorite. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. Woo, it's bright. Wow. Wow, okay. Wow. That's totally different. Right? Well, hold on. That 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And last time I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was reasonably close. I transposed these two. No.
This time at the TQ, your Goose was number 1. Now it's number 5.
Right, but these three stayed the same.
Lagunitas stayed the same.
Oh, right. I am so glad that we did this because in the Tiku sampling, in the sunlight, I was absolutely struggling with the flavor profiles. Unequivocally, the Deschutes Fresh Squeeze was the number 1 in the can. Juicy and bright. It has a fair amount of leafiness to it, but man, the second they hit that glass and they started to get warm and they got hit by the light, they just changed. I liked Lagunitas regardless. Goose Island, I was on both ends of the ship, and then Deschutes, I was kind of in the middle. But I will say, clearer than the winner in the Tiku glass was the Deschutes directly from the can, ice cold, bar none. That was a lot of fun.
What's the moral?
The moral of the video is drink your beer out of a can, make sure that it's cold, and don't have too interpersonal issues while your beer is sitting in the sunlight waiting for you to film a video. All right, well, that was a ton of fun. If you enjoyed this content, please do us a favor, get subscribed to the channel. We actually have supermarket hazy IPAs on deck. If you enjoyed this, leave your thoughts down below. Give us ideas for the future. We always learn from you guys, and we'd like to hear from you. So thank you for watching, and be good.